Hi.
How are you today?
Fine. What are we
I'm a
doing?
Spanish soldier who does leather work.
Wow, I can smell that leather.
I'll let you take the picture now.
I'm
Oh, you're
filming it.
videoing. Oh, you're filming it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm a Spanish soldier that does leather work, which would not have been unusual back in our time period. Very often soldiers had other skills other than just simply the military. And what I'm working on right now, this is a pouch that you would wear on your belt, that you would carry your tools for working on your musket. Now you actually carry your ammunition in a cartridge box like this.
Mhm.
And so, but it's all basically done by hand, exactly the same way that they would have done it back then. Now this is embossed with the Spanish royal crest. If you take a, and this also has the royal crest on it as well. If you take a look at the crest, you'll notice there's a castle and then there's also a lion. The castle represents the Spanish region of Castile, and the lion represents the region of Leone. In the 15th century, when Spain finally expels the Moors from Europe, that happens when the regions of Castile and Leon come together. Now, Queen Isabella, she was from that combined region of Leon and Castile. Ferdinand was from the region of Aragon. So basically, these symbols recognize the becoming together of the unity of Spain into a nation. You notice this garland around the side. These are strikers. Back then, you could take a piece of flint and a metal striker, strike it to create a spark to make fire. So these are strikers in fire that are around on this garland. And then you have the Maltese cross, which is a very ancient Christian symbol. And then there's a sheep at the bottom. What this garland represents is the order of the Golden Fleece. When Isabella and Ferdinand, when the Moors were finally expelled from Spain, basically the Pope at the time presented the royal family of Spain with the Order of the Golden Fleece, and that's what this represents. And if you're familiar with Greek mythology, with the search for the Golden Fleece, that's that.
Yeah.
And of course, then you have your royal crown.
Right. Right. Here's a little bit,
So all of
a little
what
bit more
you see
clear.
here, I've made all of these leather things. I make many of the items for our soldiers and fellow reenactors. And then I try to use tools similar to what they would have used back in the 18th century. Yeah, this type of bag is known as a haversack. It's a very common type of carrying bag that men wore. And this particular design is more like a hunting bag that a man would use when he went hunting.
Ah.
An interesting story about these bags is that your purse.
Yes.
You know the origin of that purse is the hunting bag and the haversack.
Oh, okay.
Worn by men, not worn by women.
That's
Some,
interesting.
yeah. So it started.
With men.
It started with men.
Okay.
Now, sometime in the 19th century,
Mhm.
it it made a transition from being a man's bag to being a woman's bag.
Hmm.
I'm not sure exactly what happened, but what I like to tell people is that before the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, you basically women didn't do a lot of shopping, and they tended to stay close to the homestead. But then once you begin to get shops and so forth, they're going shopping, and they
Right.
don't have a bag, but their husband or their son does.
Mhm.
So what do? They
Mhm.
take his bag and go shopping and don't give it back.
Exactly.
Kind
That's
of amusing story.
interesting. That's an interesting piece of information that I'm sure the fellows would love to hear about.
Well, it's kind of interesting when people see these bags and they say, "Oh, you got a man's purse."
Uh huh.
I said, "No, I don't have a man's purse." I said, "I have the original man's
That's right.
bag."
That's right.
So,
That's something good to know. Thank you.
I often tell men, "Take your bags back."
Take your bags back. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
some of them say, "Hey, I'd like to be able to carry that." Others like, "No, no, never on my life will I do that."
Interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Thank
they're talking about the weapons that we used at the
Yeah.
time, the military.
Yeah.
So you're welcome to go over there. And then back there in the garden,
Yeah.
they're planting some of the typical herbs and plants that would have been planted here
Right.
back in the 1740s.
Right. Definitely.
Is this your first visit to Mose?
No, I've been coming here at St. Augustine itself for over 10 years now.
Really?
I
So
love it.
you've
Yeah, I come all the
watched
time.
you've watched it grow
Oh
then?
yes, yes. For this
Before
art.
the no, it's beginning to take off,
Yes.
which is really kind of nice.
Yes. I love it here.
It's a beautiful spot.
It's wonderful. So peaceful. I love it.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, because I mean, I tried to go see how it is back here. I tried to sharpen it and put it back in there. But you can have them, and I think they call it profiles. They can actually add a slightly different curve to it. Or if you've got a knife you really like, take that in and show them that knife and say you want the blade to configure like
But
that.
this is fine because that's little rock connection tool
Yeah.
and all that, so this will be perfect.
But yeah, it's. I was just thinking all I got to do is sharpen this thing, and I'm like, after I started working on it,
I know because it did have a flat point altogether. You know, it was actually.
Yeah, you need a grinder.
Yeah, I got somebody.
And then there's the secret to it is like you got to watch how hot you get it, so you don't take the temper out of it.
Right.
Because soft steel is easy to sharpen, but it doesn't keep a blade very long. Hard steel is really hard to sharpen, but it keeps the edges. It's like my curve. Hard tube that I carry around.
I'll be able to do my job.
So I found this little thing. I mean, it has some interesting potential to it. And it's actually got a pretty good blade.
Is this your razor?
Well, it looks like a razor.
Yeah, but it's not.
I wouldn't want to try and shave with that thing.
Oh, I know. Here.
I got some sandpaper that probably would be just about as comfortable.
Yeah. There you go. Excellent. I like the handle.
Yeah, that's what was interesting.
Yeah.
And then there was this one.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, the blacksmith in Dallas made that.
Yeah.
And it's the handle's a little long, short, but for what they call a patch knife, if you're like shooting a rifle, when you patch it, basically you have this material and you stick the bullet on there, and you take the patch knife and cut it off.
Okay.
And then your material just hangs there. Crowd's gonna be here any minute. Crowd's gonna be here any minute. This was actually made out of a file. Files are good material for the knife. A lot of people you'll see have taken a welded piece of file on here at the first We do this every month, right? I did quite the freedom burner this year, but it's my first time for the month.
Okay, so now we're gonna go over to the garden. I have a video of how they planted already posted on the website, so let's see what she has to tell us now.
They did not, but that's not something you would see, so I
Boric acid white?
It's a white top.
Yeah, but would people really notice? Where could you put it? I wonder if you could just run it around the top of the board.
or in between.
Hello.
There's like little things you can squeeze it in and powder it in.
Okay.
That's
I'll
something
have to
to look into.
Yes.
And I wonder what they use naturally.
I'm sure I can find the natural.
Well, you're going to put pine straw on that. I know pine is a natural deterrent to certain things. I don't know what else.
Yeah, we're gonna put some pine straw at the top to keep the moisture in from the midday, and hopefully some of those bugs that we have.
Yeah, bugs. That'll be the hard part.
I don't want them eating the vegetables before we get to eat them.
I was just going to tell you too, with the squash, I'm not too sure what varieties they use it with, but it was the newer shoots. So if you're thinking about tasting them, you might want to look into which varieties specifically.
Okay.
Oriental, I see it in the Oriental markets. If you go to many of the Oriental markets, they'll have the leafy greens, and you'll see it looks just like a squash with the spines on it and stuff.
Okay. Great. Squash, zucchini, and peas.
Zucchini leaves, that's unique.
Peas and sweet potato.
Sweet potato. Peas and sweet potato for the leaf, for the shoot. But it was the leaves that you can rub together.
Right.
Okay.
And sweet peas,
I'll have to write
the
it
leaves,
down.
and then the shoots, and the sweet potato. I don't know if you're growing them. Sweet potatoes. Are you? The leaves.
Okay.
And they're quite good. All of them. Surprisingly good. They're not as bitter as you think or stark, which kind of surprises me that people don't eat them because they taste good. They're not dead. They're already growing there.
Yeah, absolutely. With all the salads and greens we eat, why not?
Keep your plant nice and bushy if that's what you want.
Well, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Good luck with your garden.
Thank you so much.
Fine, we'll have to check back.
Okay, so we'll go inside now.
Here is when I'm cooking. It's a combination of the three cultures that lived here, which were the Africans, the Spanish, and the Native Americans. So I try when I cook here, I try to make a combination of those three cultures. And today I'm making gumbo.
Oh.
The Africans contributed okra that's in my gumbo because it's not gumbo unless you put okra in it.
Oh.
And then the Indians gave the seafood, which is the oysters, the shrimp, and the crabs that I'm going to put in the gumbo. And the Spanish contributed the onions and the tomatoes that I have in my gumbo.
Oh.
If you want to come into my kitchen, my choza,
Okay.
I'll show you my gumbo.
All right.
This is reducing down.
Wow.
Just has to simmer for a little bit, for about 30 minutes. And then I will add the seafood and it'll be ready for lunch.
Wow.
And we're starting our garden today.
Okay.
And hopefully during the year, but once we harvest the fruit, I'll cook it.
Okay. Wow, that looks great.
Smells good too. I have to give it a taste.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Almost ready?
Oh my, this is good. I impress myself. The okra has to stand a little bit more, but
Uh-huh.
just
Oh.